Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a brilliant modern fable about community building, snap judgments, and the absolute, profound, spiritual mandate of neighborly rights. It's actually a really fascinating look at how our hyper-analytical brains can kind of get in the way of genuine human connection, right? And more importantly, how structured family teachings can course-correct those initial prejudices. Let's get right into it.
I want to kick things off by asking you a seemingly absurd question, but it's one that actually triggers the entire core conflict of our story today. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What does a taped-up football tell you about a person? Does it mean they're careless, resourceful maybe, or does it mean absolutely nothing about their character? Well, in our source material, this simple, everyday object becomes the ultimate test for two siblings who are watching a new family move in right across the street.
Section 1. Impressions and Flawed Logic. The Danger of Analytical Assumptions.
Now, the contrast between these two siblings is absolutely fascinating to watch. You've got Yusuf. He's a boy who views the entire world through data. I mean, this kid actually makes precise geometric wind calculations just to play a casual game of backyard football. So when a massive moving truck rolls up, his cold robotic calculations completely misfire. He's literally out there trying to analyze the dimensions of the shipping container, figuring there's got to be around 300 boxes of household inventory in there. But the moment he sees the new boy with a patched-up football and a dusty shirt, his logic tells him this kid is strange and they shouldn't engage. On the flip side, you have his sister Maryam. She counters all that math with pure, unadulterated empathy. She argues that Allah created every single human being with unique conditions, and because of that, our hearts just have to remain open.
But Yusuf? He doubles down. He logically deduces that a deflated football implies a lack of proper equipment maintenance, and to his hyper-analytical mind, that means this new kid might be troublesome. Based on literally just that wild assumption and a dusty set of clothes, he turns his back. He tells Maryam to go back inside, leaving the new boy standing entirely alone by the steps in a big, unfamiliar city. You know, it's a perfect example of how relying purely on data and surface-level analysis can totally strip us of our basic humanity.
Section 2. A heavy spiritual right, moving beyond worldly logic.
So, when the children's mother, realizes what happened, that they didn't greet the new neighbors just because Yusuf thought the boy looked poor and different, she brings their father, Baba, into the mix. Baba sits them down and explains that welcoming a neighbor isn't just about being a nice person, it is a sacred sunnah. What does that mean? It means it's a profound tradition and practice that acts as a sacred model for Muslims to follow. He tells the kids very clearly that this is a direct command from Allah and represents a very, very heavy spiritual right granted to the people who live next to us.
And the incredible theological weight of this duty is captured so perfectly by their father right here. He imparts this profound piece of wisdom, telling his kids that Angel Jibreel emphasized the rights of the neighbor so continuously that he thought they would inherit our property. Let that sink in for a second. It's not just a casual suggestion, it's not some modern life hack for neighborhood networking. The neighbor is elevated almost to the level of an immediate family member who could literally inherit your estate. No way you can ignore that.
Baba makes absolutely sure the children understand that this religious duty easily overrides any worldly logic about patched-up footballs or perceived social status. He explicitly calls it far higher than any worldly contract. In other words, it simply doesn't matter what your geometric wind calculations say. It doesn't matter how many boxes the neighbors are hauling. The mandate to be welcoming is absolute, it's timeless, and it is completely undeniable.
Section 3. The Art of Hospitality. Translating faith into physical action.
Now, it's one thing to sit around and philosophize about faith, right? It's an entirely different thing to actually manifest it through physical action. And this family gets right to work. Simmers a fresh pot of traditional Omani haris and bakes a beautiful cake. Meanwhile, Maryam draws this official hospitality card featuring a giant golden sun and 3 happy friends. Then, securing their grip on the warm food, they physically walk across the street as a family to officially welcome the new villa.
And wow, this intervention is immediately transformative. Just look at the before and after here. Before this act of hospitality, the new neighbor, Ali, felt completely isolated. His family was utterly exhausted from lifting massive wooden crates, with absolutely zero energy left to even think about cooking. But suddenly, that sheer exhaustion is met with a steaming, warm meal. They're sustained by the traditional Omani haris and fresh cake, and that heavy feeling of being ignored in a brand new city is totally shattered by a handmade card and the realization that they actually have new companions. As All These Mother beautifully notes, this right here is true Islamic neighborliness. Section 4. Building a peaceful community. The ripple effect of compassion.
What started as this cold, data-driven judgment completely transforms into a beautiful evening with an outdoor football match as the sun sets. And incredibly, Yusuf, yeah, the highly analytical boy who was judging the taped-up football earlier, changes his tune entirely. When Ali feels a little embarrassed about his old ball compared to Yusuf's shiny new one, Yusuf just smiles and says, "Don't worry, Ali. A ball is just a ball." It's amazing. They share their toys, the neighbors feel protected and supported, and Yusuf realizes firsthand that this simple act of sharing generates a profound internal happiness that no geometric calculation could ever predict. Later, when the children return home before dark, Baba delivers this wonderful summarizing thought. He says, "When we love and support our neighbors, our neighborhoods become full of happiness and peace." I love that. It's such a powerful reminder that an open heart and a warm meal are literally the ultimate antidotes to isolation. A true community isn't built on perfect appearances, or flawless sporting equipment, or cold analytical assumptions. It's built on a rock-solid foundation of mutual support and open-heartedness.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to ask yourself, how can you step past your own assumptions to transform your street into a place of happiness and peace today? Look, we all make snap judgments. It's just human nature to try and analyze the world around us. But how do we push past that? Maybe it's bringing over a plate of food, or hey, maybe it's just a simple hello to someone you usually walk right past. Whatever it is, I really hope this story inspires you to take that first step. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.